And we've got breaking news coming in now. On day 8 of the Russia-Ukraine crisis, Prime Minister Modi is to attend a virtual Quad meet later today. Prime Minister Modi will be participating along with the President of the United States, Biden, Prime Minister of Australia, Scott Morrison, and Prime Minister of Japan, Fumio Kishida, in a Quad leaders virtual meet today. An important meeting of this intergovernmental security alliance called the Quad of Australia, the United States, India and Japan that will look into what's happening in Russia and Ukraine. All of these countries directly affected by what's happening in Ukraine at this point of time, especially the United States and India, and all of them will be putting their heads together to figure what the newest security alliance in the world's response will actually be. Important meeting, Akshita.
That's right. India has also been walking a diplomatic tightrope with regards to this particular war. And in the Quad, whether it's the United States, Japan or Australia, their stand has been very, very clear, Shiv. They've been anti-Russia, pro-Ukraine. And there's been a lot of pressure also on Biden to get India over to his side, to stop abstaining on world forums, on important votes against Russia. So it'll be important to see what is the outcome of this particular meeting. It's happening today, and there's no doubt that Biden is going to try and seek India's support on the United States and their sanctions and their actions against Russia.
This is going to be extremely interesting. As Akshita pointed out, there are various issues of divergence between India and the United States as far as Ukraine and Russia are concerned. In fact, they're poles apart really on Russia at this point of time, because President Biden has imposed the toughest possible historical economic sanctions against Russia, an old ally of India, a friend of India, a country to condemn which India has actually abstained in the United Nations Security Council for 2 times in quick succession. Our defense editor Abhishek Bhalla live with us. Abhishek, very crucial Quad meeting lined up today. Prime Minister Modi will be attending. The agenda is pretty clear. What appears unclear is whether they can agree on any forward movement or any kind of a united message as far as the Ukraine crisis is concerned. You're going to have both Joe Biden and Prime Minister Modi on this issue on the same forum, that is the Quad, but both their views right now couldn't be further apart. It's going to be interesting, Abhishek.
Well, a very significant development, Shiv, amid the Ukraine conflict, and the leaders of all 4 Quad member countries will be attending this conference, while the Indian Ministry of External Affairs has said that they will discuss all important developments in the Indo-Pacific. But needless to say, the meeting is taking place at a time when there is a war raging in Ukraine, and the spillover can very well get into other parts of Europe. So all these countries that have come together on strategic issues time and again, it's important to note what they will be discussing. And yes, there are divergent views as far as India and other countries, including US, are concerned. But at the same time, India has made it very clear initially that a sovereign nation should not be invaded, but at the same time has also put it very clear that they are not on either side a stated policy of the Indian state when it comes to war.
Abhishek, just also, with regards to this particular meet, was this an emergency Quad meet that's been called, or one that was scheduled already?
Well, it's not an emergency meeting, because the agenda is certainly not just this. But yes, the timing is very significant. The previous meeting took place in September last year, when the 4 leaders came together and discussed various issues related to security and strategic matters that affect all these 4 countries. The 4 countries also have a very strong maritime cooperation, and which is seen in a naval exercise that takes place where all these 4 nations send their navies. So it's difficult to say whether it's an emergency meeting. Probably seems that, it was a scheduled one. But yes, the timing very significant in terms of the developments in Ukraine.
Abhishek, thanks very much for joining us on that. We'll keep a close eye on what happens in that virtual Quad meeting. Perhaps a scheduled meeting. But Akshita, your question is very pertinent, because I can bet they're not going to talk about anything apart from what's happening right now. The world is in crisis. Everything else takes a backseat right now. Of course, the maritime issues are extremely important between these countries, but they will be talking about whether there can be a united Quad response to what's going to happen. That's tantalizing, because I cannot imagine. Even Biden himself, remember in that press conference, had said we are working out some of the issues with our Indian partners right now, which basically signaled there isn't 100% alignment, which is pretty clear to see.